Hello, everyone. Monday, we talked about fiancé visas, and today we are going to continue with that discussion. I'm Raluca Hanea. I am an attorney who works in the areas of immigration, family law, and estate planning, and I'm here with my marketing and office manager, Nina Clear. And we really appreciate all your likes, shares, and everyone who watches our videos. Your likes and comments help other people see them.
Now, we did have a question on Facebook that was sent to us about the fiancé visa. We had mentioned in our last video on Monday that there was a 2-year requirement, meaning that the couple has to have been in each other's physical presence within the 2 years of sending in the application.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
And so this viewer wondered if there was a waiver that could be filed because of financial hardship. So the couple's been able to talk by Skype or online,
Sure.
but not to be with each other, and if that would excuse them from not having been within each other's presence within the last 2 years.
There is an exception that can be filed under immigration law. It's Immigration Naturalization Act, Section 214.2 K2T. However, that is very rarely granted, and one of the parties must meet such strict requirements, meaning it was practically impossible for them to physically travel, not because of incarceration or cost, but they are extremely disabled, and it's very rarely granted. There is a financial affidavit, there is a financial waiver for fees, the government filing fees, but this is also very rarely granted as well. And also keep in mind that you need to sponsor your visa as your fiance. So it's hard to have them both.
It's hard to say, I can't afford to pay the fee, but I can afford for them to come and live here.
To come in and live, yes.
Yeah,
that's
seems
right.
contradictory. Okay. So we just want to make everybody aware that you do still need to file the financial affidavit showing that you make enough money to support your fiance when they come in. Okay.
That's right. And thank you for that question and others that we have received. If you're wondering about something, I'm sure others wonders about that too. So it helps them, the ones that didn't ask.
Okay. And conveniently, today we're going to talk about costs for the fiancé visa. But before we do that, I wanted to ask something that USCIS had on their website. They said you have to have both parties have to have a bona fide intent to get married. What does that mean?
This means that you are getting married for the sole purpose of getting not for the sole purpose of getting a green card.
I was like, wait a minute.
No, sorry. But you actually, you want to get married and you actually intend to have a life together with the other person. And it's similar with the same standard applied for when you apply for the green card for your spouse. So now you're applying for a fiance. So practically you have to prove that the actual intent is to marry someone for the rest of your life.
Okay. So is there anything besides what we talked about on Monday where we talked about like health and crime and things like that could keep you from being approved?
Yes, there are a few things. For example, if your fiance is living in the U.S. or either of you is currently married or you plan to marry outside the U.S., you won't be approved for fiancé visa.
Okay, so let's move on to the fees now. Besides paying an attorney, if you decide to hire one, what are they?
Yes, there are 3 fees you'll need to pay, not including the attorney fees. One is the fee to USCIS when you file the Form I-129F. And currently that fee is $535, but keep in mind that these fees can change at any time. So you have to check the amount at the time when you file. The other costs include a medical exam, for your fiance in their country, that could be about $250, and the consular processing fees and visa fees that raise to around $265.
Okay. And the consular processing fee, or sorry, the visa fee is the one with the Department of State, which right now is $265. Are
Yes.
there consular fees in their countries that you know of?
It depends on each country, but usually, I mean, these are about the fees that we've seen so far.
Okay.
But you always need to check with the consulate in that country and see if there are specific fees for
That
each
they
country.
might have.
Yeah, they might have. Yes.
Okay. And then about how much are attorney fees?
I mean, it depends a lot of the state where you live, or
The experience of the attorney and everything
yes.
like that,
So
right?
they can range from $800 to $5,000, depending on the attorney, depending on, like I said, the place where you live, the state, and also the difficulty of your case.
Okay. And are there any other fees involved?
No, I mean, not to the government, but I always, as far as the way I send these applications, I always overnight the application for my clients, which is about $40, because then you have a tracking number so you can confirm when USCIS received your application. You will keep in mind you will also need to purchase tickets for your fiance to come in the US. You will need your fiance will need a passport, of course, which has a cost as well, depending on what country they are in. Plus, you'll need to pay for the marriage license when they get here. Also, keep in mind that your fiance must apply for an adjustment of status or a green card application once you're married, which has, of course, additional fees.
And that has to happen right when you get married, right?
After you get married.
Okay.
Yes.
So what about if your fiance has children? Can they come with them on the fiance visa, or is that additional cost?
They can, but you need to make sure that they are included in your I-129F application.
Okay.
And there is always a little bit complicated, and also they have to be minors, but it's complicated because you have to have written permission. You have to have the right to travel with these children in the United States. So you have to have written permission from the other parent to bring them in the United States.
Okay.
So I'm sure at this time people are wondering how long it will take.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll talk about that on Friday. We are happy to have you here today watching us, and we hope we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye-bye.